flare up yesterday, so
And thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring this morning's Community Spotlight program right here on KRIM 96.3 FM. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Wednesday morning. Chris Higgins in the studio, and this morning have a guest from Pulse Combustion Systems and Ina Grobler. And good morning, Ina. How are you doing?
good morning, Chris. Doing fine, and you?
Doing great, doing great. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful weather out there. I know a little dry. It wouldn't hurt to get a little bit of rain.
No, it wouldn't.
But the sunshine is wonderful. The temperature is great. So I don't think anyone can really complain.
No, this is my favorite time of the year, I must be honest.
There we go. So this morning we're going to be talking with Ina about Pulse Combustion Systems. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this company that's located here in Rim Country at the airport, and their recent expansion, which is very exciting, and the new things that they'll be doing as a result of that expansion. So, Ina, if you can tell the listeners and also people watching on our Facebook Live and YouTube channel a little bit about the history of Pulse Combustion Systems and how it came about.
Okay, Pulse Combustion Systems was the brainchild of course, our company president, Jim Rakoff, who lives in San Francisco, California. And they first started at the sanitary district here in Basin, drying human excrement into organic fertilizer, and then they saw that there were various applications and with modifications that they could actually dry so much more. The company, that was in 1996, the company moved to the B line, where they of course dried various products and then expanded and went to the industrial area behind the airport, where we are still currently. But yes, indeed, we had to acquire a new facility because the demand for food safe and food grade products to dry became a lot higher for us. Now, in our old facility, it would be very time consuming and not so cost effective to turn that whole facility into a complete food safe facility. So Hendrik Grobler, the COO of the company, when he heard that the other facility, actually it was where the old Ammo Inc. was, when that became available, we started renting that. At the moment, our smallest dryer, the baby dryer, the P50 Dryer, is in that facility already. We do R&D. The laboratory there is also all laboratory, trying to use the American way, and it doesn't always work for me. Please excuse my accent. But yes, so that is almost fully equipped already, and then we are going to move our bigger dryer, what we refer to as the pilot dryer, our P50 Dryer, is going to be moved in there. They are still fabricating it, and then there we hope to do all our food safe R&D and then also the low volume productions.
Wow, so it's very interesting, the process, the drying process, and how many applications there are. I know you're saying the focus now of Pulse Combustion Systems is food, mainly doing food. And why, we were talking a little bit before the program, people might be wondering, well, why? Why would you dry the food, and what does that create?
Okay, so especially in the nutraceutical industry, working a lot with supplements, various vitamins, various proteins, various products, they need the dried powder. So we might dry the complete product or parts of it, and then that is sent to the customers' facilities, usually outsourced, where they do the encapsulation,
Okay.
and then the capsule that you drink, for instance, could contain some of our powder, and then there are various regulations to keep that food safe. We are registered with the FDA. We are working very hard on becoming a good manufacturing practice company. We've got a new quality manager who's working hard on that. And so, yes, I think what makes us very special is that we can catch the middle and the small companies in the nutraceutical industry who needs a place to dry their product. And we do some products that actually really saves lives. I told you about one of our customers where the mom and dad had 2 children and they were allergic to normal protein as we know it. So the mom and dad quitted their jobs and then started working on this product. So we try various oils for them for this product. And I know that recently they shipped a lot of their product to the Ukraine to help people there, but they also ship, of course, worldwide. And so that is one of the big things that we are very proud of to be a part of. And then also one of our other customers had great successes with their supplements in treating autism. And so there are various testimonies. So we're actually very proud of what we achieve. And then our customer base is really broad. We have customers from all over the USA. They also come to visit the small town of Payson, and they are usually very, very impressed. So we are glad that we could also draw that sort of business in here, because they have to eat and support the local restaurants. They have to stay, so supporting the local hotels. And then, of course, we also have customers, international customers from South Africa, for instance, China, Australia, and then also in Africa and England, for instance, the UK. So we actually have seen a lot of international customers here, even Israel. So quite proud of what we do and what we achieve. And we know that people do not always know about Pulse, but it's a small company in Payson, really making a difference in the big world out there.
And I was just looking, I've been just looking because I guess I didn't make the connection with how many supplements, protein powders, greens, there's so many products that have powdered items in there. So any, from vegetables to fruits to vitamins, whatever it is, that's turned into a powder.
That's right.
And so those are the type of things that you are creating.
That's right. We've even dried milk before. I don't think that is a product that dries that easily for us, but we have done that. Even milk alternatives such as almond milk. So that is very interesting. And then, of course, we also do some big industrial products in our big dryer, our P500 dryer. And that's mostly like water treatment and stuff like that. So various applications, some really big customers too. And with the expansion now, of course, we are looking also to hire staff. The main thing to mention there is that people have to be dedicated. And that they have to give attention to the smallest little detail, because you can imagine if one thing goes wrong, if one recipe batching that we do beforehand goes wrong, if there's one element missing or something drops into there, then it can create a big problem.
Yeah,
So attention to detail, and then for the youngsters looking for a career, they don't always necessarily have to leave basin. I think if we've got one person who started out there in high school still in 2016, working there during his vacations and off times, and he is now actually the supervisor of R&D. Done very well for himself, and so that is possible. I also think that our pay that we offer is very competitive actually, and I would say a little bit higher than the rest of basin to start out with. And then of course there are always opportunities to grow and to take the lead. It all depends on the person themselves, and then to become part of the team. I think the whole team effort was something that Hendrik worked very hard on, to get everybody on the same team, and not me, myself and I, but we did this as a team, we achieved this as a team. And then for instance last year we were part of a large customer survey, and the feedback that we got from it was absolutely mind-blowing. The person said that this was the best results in terms of customer service and customer satisfaction that he had in his research in 35 years.
Wow.
So I think that's a huge feather in Pulse's cap, to think that people are this happy, and it is because we take the trouble of going through the whole R&D. So if this formulation doesn't work, we look at other formulations. So we are working closely with a formulating company where we will send the powder or send some of the ingredients and see what they can use to bind it, to make it more dryable, but still keep it food safe and still keep it safe for intake, and in many cases still keeping that organic certification, because for many people it's very important to be able to put on their label organic. Because I think more and more people, as we become more informed, are looking for stuff that is not genetically modified, and that is safe. Also in terms of allergies, of course, not everybody can eat all the binding products or the products that anti-caking products and whatever. It's not safe for everybody.
And so how many dryers do you currently have?
Okay, so we've got our big P500 dryer. That is for our big productions. People will literally send us 10,000 pounds or even more to dry in that dryer. Yes.
Wow.
So that is in the wet material that they send us. And that is for big productions. We've also, with proper cleaning protocols that we follow, of course, use that to dry some of the bigger food industry products. And then we've got our P50 dryer. We used to call it our pilot dryer. That was specifically for R&D, for people to test their product then before it would go onto the big dryer. And but then the need was seen, and I know that Hendrik specifically and other members of management wanted to look at a smaller dryer, even like a desktop dryer, to quickly see if something is dryable or not, to make one a certain form of powder to at least send to the customer and see, are they happy with this, fulfill their needs. And so they've developed a P5 dryer, which is at the moment our small dryer. We sold, for instance, 2 to a customer in Phoenix. We recently also, then there's a bigger dryer in between that we don't have at our facility. So our facility is P5, P50, P500, and soon we'll have the other P50 then in the food safe building. But we also designed a P10 dryer that was sent to a customer in Wisconsin, and then also an in-between dryer between the P50 and the P500, a P250 that we also sent to Wisconsin. Then they also developed a little bit of a bigger dryer after the P10, I would say, before the P50, P25, PPP.
Yeah.
And then that was for a customer in Texas, and at the moment we are also going to design a similar one for a customer in Massachusetts. So that is really exciting for us, that the dryer sales form part and parcel of what our company do. But yes, first of all, there's the R&D, where we will start with a bench test, then go on to making the powder in the P5 dryer to send them a sample, and then take it from there. It's a very exciting process to be part of. We, on a daily basis, talk to customers, and what was wonderful also when I came here in 2016, we had maybe one customer per month on site. By 2019, we had about 3 customers per week average on site.
Wow.
Also international customers, so the Aussies actually do come here, or people from other countries do visit us. That's always nice, always to hear nice things about their culture, to teach them a little bit more about the American culture, which we also had to learn, of course, which is great. Some really warm and friendly people here in Payson. But yes, then COVID of course happened, but at the moment it's picking up again, and we are again getting maybe 1 to 2 customers per week. Not every week, but yes, visiting us.
And when you were explaining the smaller dryer and designing that or creating that, building that, so you could dry small batches to get the recipe down, it reminded me of our coffee roaster when we had our coffee shop here in town. And our coffee roaster in Tempe, Ron Cortez, he, built little small coffee roasters. So, part of it was he would sell them to people so they could roast their own coffee at home. But he would use those small roasters to come up with different coffee roasts, and could experiment with the temperature, the duration, combination of beans, and different things before he committed to doing that in his large roaster. Because then you were roasting a lot of beans, so if it was a roast that you didn't really like or didn't come out the way you thought it would, you're doing it in that smaller roaster. And,
that's right.
Yeah, so
if ever we will really penetrate the household market to create little powders at home, I do not know and I cannot vouch for. But what we do offer currently, and we do have Bukies, that's a little benchtop dryer that we, our engineer, modified to actually also work with the Pulse Combustion System. And so there we can really literally do small amounts of powder just to see how it will turn out, and then also of course to test that it's all safe and etc. So that's also very interesting. And that is why for our staff members, our operational staff, it is so very, very important to really follow the recipe. If it says X% of the customer's products, X% of this additive, X% of that it really is followed to the T. And then that's not the end of it. There's also particle size, that's the size of the powder is very important. Some ones maybe like a more granular or a more fine powder. So that also makes a difference. So to be alert and really pay attention to one's job is very important, but it's also very, very rewarding, because to receive a letter from a customer, or even a little award that you can actually put on your wall to say how well you've achieved and what you've done for them, is great. And then the whole team, of course, is part of that. So it's very, very rewarding, very interesting.
So you mentioned how you specialize really in the medium to small batch. Are there a lot of, because I would imagine there's companies that do the large, batch and the drying, but are there many companies that do the medium to small batch like you guys?
Yes, you can just go on Amazon, for instance, and see how many supplements there are. So we've got a customer who dries, for instance, beta-glucan, which is a health supplement that is available on Amazon. Many of our customers actually do sell on Amazon too, and then they've got their own websites also where they sell from. And interesting, here in Basin, for our family, we try to also look at the natural supplements more, as it is very important for your health. You don't want to pump your body full of chemicals all the time. Sometimes it has its place too, but here in Basin, actually, we bought from some of the naturopaths here, or even some of the chiropractors, bought some of our customers' material, which was, it does something if you pick up that little bottle and we've been part of that. It makes one very, very happy, and it's rewarding. So yes, I think it's as I said, a small company in a small town achieving big things. I think that sort of sums up what Pulse is, and it makes us happy to be part of it. And really, we will in the future work with the Chamber of Commerce, work with the college and the high school to see, how we can accommodate youngsters who want to just come and have a look, to a tour, and see if that is actually what they want to do.
Yes, and so you are starting to move into the new facility,
That's
new building.
right.
When do you anticipate approximately that you will be moved over completely? And you were also mentioning, a grand opening. That time, approximately when do you think that
That's
would be?
right. So, of course, the current facility where we have the P500 and the P50 will remain, and will remain fully operational. But then the new head office, we already have all the administrative staff there, and like I say, the P5 dryer and the laboratory is already fully functioning. So yes, the last part, of course, is to get the first P50 dryer in there, which we hope to do by July. And then the grand opening after that soon. We just, want to put Basin on the map, as to say, when I came here the first time, I looked at this small town, gorgeous, nestled in the mountains with all these trees. You can hardly imagine that it's actually so-called desert, and just blown away. And then I started to say to our friends in South Africa and some of our other friends all over the world that Basin should be on your bucket list. It mustn't just be a pass-through, it's actually a destination if you look at it, and that's why I'm so excited that the town has Adventure Basin and things like that going, because it's exciting. And many of our customers will come here the first time. Next time they'll bring the wife and kids, to go to Tonda National Bridge, or to look at this or that, which is amazing. So yes, I think it's great for us to be here, and the challenge is to always get the right staff who are on board with us, to become loyal staff members and grow with the company.
Yes, and you made me think of May next month is actually Adventure Where We Live month. So it was recognized by the town as a Adventure Where We Live month, and it's exciting. It's exciting because you see a lot of businesses that are doing different activities. I know I just saw an event that's going to be put on by the Payson Golf Club. So Cinco de Mayo, and it's a celebration, and they're recognizing Adventure Where We Live month
Yes.
next month. So I think there'll be other businesses as well that are doing special events or doing something special to recognize, the Adventure Where We Live month, and just all of the activities that you can
That's
do up
right.
here.
And I think in future we would honestly have a dream to say maybe do a mountain bike challenge or
Mhm.
something like that. This year up to now was a bit challenging for us with all the change and the
Mhm.
happenings. But yes, our son, for instance, does mountain biking. He loves it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's always looking for trails and stuff. And yes, in the end, it would be wonderful to have a mountain bike race here that is actually well known and dream big, internationally well known, and something like that. So yes, I think that would be something very pulsating that we will be looking at in future. But yes, it's great for us to be part of the town, and I think we want to take hands with the town more
Yeah.
and more. But yes.
That was good how you worked that in there. Well, Ina, thank you so much for coming on today. It is it's right at 10:30.
Oh my
So
goodness.
just like that, yes,
She
25.
talks too much.
No, it is all wonderful and fascinating information, and I think it's great for people to hear about Pulse Combustion Systems, the type of business it is, and the things you're doing right here in Payson. I think what you said that sums it up is great. Small town, small company, but doing big things.
That's right.
So that's wonderful. So
That's
thank you.
right.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much. And if people want to check us out,
Yes.
www.pulsedry.com, and
Okay.
our number 928-472-9333.
All right, and that website again is pulsedry.com.
That's right.
All right, great. Well, thank you, and thank you everyone for listening and watching today to our community spotlight program. And we're going to get back to the music now with some Edgar Winter Group, Prince, Cake, The Cars, and more. But first, an update from the National Weather Service.
As for Payson and surrounding areas, nowcast.
There we go. And I'm going to shut this off. Goodbye, guys.
Becoming breezy.